सहना भवतु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुप्तेरुत्थाय सुप्त्यन्तम् ब्रह्मैकं परिचिन्त्यताम् प्रविचिन्त्यताम्। And then दूरे मृत्युः इति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः. One word we haven't seen, that's why I chanted. What is that? Nrinam. Yeah, Nrinam means human beings. Yeah. Why not dogs and cats? Because dogs and cats don't obsess about death. They are in the moment. They are in the moment. It is only for human beings, correct? Yeah. So that one word was left out. And next verse. There are some mistakes also, but it's not yet. I don't think we need to worry about it this time. We'll see. Anyway. Panchanamapi koshanam मायानर्थव्ययोचिता तत्साक्षी ब्रह्म विज्ञानम् Yeah, so this is coming, to a different aspect of contemplation. It started with a bad news of one's own death and the body, the death of the body mind sense complex. So you don't have a lot of time to disengage from this body. That is the idea, because mrityu is hovering around, and if you die identified with the body, and then what happens? The sukshma sharira travels, and you have to cut off the visa and the tickets of the two sukshma sharira. Should not allow it to get on the plane to the next jiva. That is what it is. So therefore, if the karana sharira, which is, there are three kinds of bodies discussed in the body of knowledge called Vedanta. What are they? Sthula sharira, what you see, gross body. Then subtle body. What does the subtle body consist of? Yeah, 5 pranas. Yeah, 5 elements. Very good. 5 elements, 5 pranas. Believe me, this will pay off next time. Yeah, 5 pranas, 5 elements, 5 senses. What else?
2 things. The mind and
one more group of 5 has been left out.
is Jnanendriyas.
No, that was the 5 senses.
The 5 sheets?
No. Okay.
Karmendriyas. Karmendriyas. Then buddhi, manaha, chittam, ahankara, and then what else goes with the sukshma sharira? The main thing.
The karmic body, I don't know.
Avidya. That knowledge-less state goes into the next life. Avidya. And what follows on the heels of avidya? Because of avidya, what is there? Kama and karma. As exemplified in the famous verse, Vagadi pancha shravanadi pancha pranadi panchabhra mukhani pancha buddhyadi vidyadi avidya buddhyadi avidyadi chakama karmani puryashtakam sukshma shariram ahuhu. Bhagavad Gita? Dindima?
No.
Panchadashi? Panchadashi. Viveka Chudamani. Yes. Viveka Chudamani talks about this. So this is all the Sukshma Sharira. So avidya is the main fuel that takes the Sukshma Sharira chariot swinging low, not so sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me to another body. This is what it is. So this chariot is avidya. And so this avidya is, therefore here the threat is given. or not even the threat, the fact that you don't have a lot of time to disengage from this body. If you wait till death to disengage from this body, you will definitely be reborn. Therefore, disengage from this body right now, because there's not a lot of time. Lord Yama is knocking on the front door. This is what the whole thing is. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And then, so therefore the next verse very appropriately takes a deeper look at what constitutes this body from which it is so difficult to disengage, and falsifies this identification by falsifying the body itself and the mind and all the accoutrements that come along with this complex. And what is that? Let us look at the word by word meaning first. Panchanam api koshanam. So even these 5 koshas, of all these 5 koshas, what is true about them? Maya. Need we say more? Yeah. Maya kalpita, deha and manaha, and then what? Indriyani, karya, karana, sanghata. The body-mind complex is a dress sewn by Maya, this costume sewn by Maya. Very nicely, very fitting, yeah. Only towards the end of the life it gets little loose, but the rest of the time it's very fitting. Very fitting. Yeah, very fitting costume. The mind also gets loose, everything gets loose. And so this very fitting costume has been given here by Maya, the seamstress Maya, and it is a frilly costume made up of 5 layers. This is what it is. And therefore, since it is a doing of Maya, and since everyone here is a Vedantin, not a Vedantaut, what do we look at Maya? How do we look at Maya? We look at it with a talk to the hand, approach. How do we look at Maya? I don't want to even give you the time of day. In fact, time is you, Yeah, time is another big spoof by you. So therefore, what am I going to do? I am going to be with myself. And so we don't even give Maya the time of day. Being a Vedantin, Maya is Tiraskrita Maya. This very interesting prefix called Tiras. Tiras, and it is add to do, to be. Tiras plus bhu, tiro bhu, and tiras plus kru, tiraskrita, tiraskarah means total upeksha. Upeksha means ignore, neglect, diss. Yeah, you diss Maya if you are a Vedantin. Yeah, that's the exact translation. You completely diss it. Show it the hand. And so, why? Because this Maya is anartha. If you believe in her, she will take you on a nice little, jog around the samsara block. That's all she will do. She will just, she's very tempting, very beautiful, very lovely, and then she will, with her sweet words, enthrall you and take you away from yourself. Meaning, this is just a poetic way of expressing it, but what it is that when anatma thinking, when thinking about anatma and just being with anatma proliferates in the mind and takes over atma, that means one is under the spate of Maya. That is what it is. That's what, Vishnu's, that's why she's called Vishnu Maya. She belongs to Vishnu. And whenever Vishnu wants, Vishnu puts on the Vishnu cross dresses, and Vishnu puts on a sari and puts on the avatara. This is what he did after the ocean was churned. And the Devas, tricked these asuras to working hard and churning the ocean with them in the thing that they would get the knowledge of immortality. If you drink that, you will become immortal. And then finally, after a lot of horrible things, disease and pestilence, everything comes, the unconscious comes, poison comes. then finally this Amrita comes. And the Rakshasas first sit down. They say, we want to be served first. And not only that, they are clanging their bowls and plates. They are refusing to be de-seated. And Shiva whispers something to the other devatas assembled and said they should not be given this because otherwise the earth has no hope. Yeah, no hope at all. And so how to distract them? Vishnu says, I'm putting on my lipstick, I'm coming. Vishnu's avatara comes, Mohini, she who deludes. Yeah. And she just sashays into the room. Come on, boys. And she picks up the goblet that contains the Amrita. Come on, boys, I'll serve you with my own hands. It's just, she has brought an identical goblet. This one just contains milk pudding. And she just substitutes and takes them into another world, another loka, Asura loka, and serves them there and disappears, and they are left fighting amongst each other as usual. So this is Maya, Here Asuras also wanted what? Amritam. But they were distracted here by Maya. This is what the whole thing is. So the Asuri vritti, Asuri vrittaya, the Asuri thinking is what? Overpowered by Ragadveshas. Then only Maya starts to look Maya means all the names and forms. When the names and forms are taken without Brahman, that is Maya. So Maya anartha. Anartha means it will only lead you to disaster. Vyaya. Vyaya means it makes you spend more than you earn. Vyaya means it's a waste of time. Yeah, Vyaya means expenditure. So not only does it incur expenditure, but here that was just a joke. Expenditure here means it's a waste of time. Yeah. And then anuchita. Uchita. Uchita means it is uchita, appropriate, to call Maya anartha and vyaya. Vyaya means a huge waste of time. Anartha, a colossal disaster. So this is what Maya is. A huge waste of time and a, disaster of magnanimous, ominous proportions. This is what Maya is. So anartha, vyaya, and it is uchita to call her that. Uchita means apt, appropriate. So whoever called her anartha and vyaya, whoever called this force that deludes the avarna and the vikshepa here, whoever calls this force call this force that deludes one from one's own self and one's goals of understanding and assimilating this oneness, they accurately said that Maya is a huge waste of time, and Maya leads to following Maya leads to disastrous consequences. So these five koshas come under that, come under Maya Kritam. So this body is a apparition. The mind is another apparition. Scary sometimes, but an apparition nonetheless. Because it's just an apparent reality. These are just the clothes that Maya has stitched because she knows that winter is coming. So she stitched 5 sweaters, one after the other, in the form of 5 koshas, so that this jiva, can be warm as she pursues self-knowledge. How considerate. This is how to look at it. So the body is a dress. Okay? Then what comes after Annamaya? Pranamaya. Yeah. The breathing is also a dress. Or maybe it's one of those dresses, sometimes that, what is that? They have cut work, there's so many cut work. How do you call it, Yeah. Or take the modern youngsters' jeans, more holes than jeans, than fabric. So like that. So that is prana. It's a way for, recharging this body. So pranamaya, annamaya, vikara of prana, vikara of food. This body is just modified idlis. That's all it is. Yeah. Idlis pounded till it becomes flesh, blood, marrow, etc. So this body is all that is here is just, more and more modifications. Prana. And then after prana what comes? Manaha, manomaya. So the mind is again a vikara. It's a modification of this Brahman alone, and this modifier is Maya. So out of one lump of Brahman, she has made this mind. That's all it is. So to speak, just for fun. Brahman is impartite. Don't take it all seriously. So then the sense of doership, Vijnanamaya, and the sense of experiencership. I am the doer, I am the experiencer. These are 5 loci of identification as I, which need to be now, completely, what is that? Eradicated at this level of the teaching. So the 5 levels of identification, the loci of error, they are the loci of, they were the loci of error previously, but now they continue to be the loci of identification. Body is a locus of identification, mind is a locus of identification, all of them together, they powerfully sort of enact the habit of identifying with the body-mind-sense complex. So the only truth about the body-mind-sense complex we know is that it's a dress we cannot take off. That's all it is. Yeah. Other clothes you can take off and hang up and go to sleep, or put it in your drawer or cupboard or whatever it is. This, it won't come off. Yeah. It need not come off. So that's all it is, 5-layered dress. Then who am I? If I'm not the mind, not this thing, tat sakshi. Who are you? You are the sakshi. You are the observer of all these things. And so any time the body gets you down, the mind gets you down, the senses get you down, what to get into the place of the observer. Get into the place of the witness. If one is not witness, what happens? Witless. Yeah, that's all. Just one letter off. Yeah. Slightly something is off. Yeah. I'm not identifying with the body at all. Oh, that's great. I'm not also identifying with the mind. Oh, wonderful. But I feel disconnected and floating and have a dissociated out-of-body experience. Not good. That's not what is being talked about. This is a disidentification, not through apathy, not to go to some happy place, but through knowledge. A disidentification through witnessing and decrying that which doesn't hold up to this inquiry of the witnessing, because the witness cannot witness itself. If it can witness the mind is not the witness. This we go back to Atma Anatma, the basic Vedanta 001. This is what is taught. Dvau hi padharthau, Atma Anatmano. 2 only things are there. And Atma and Anatma. Anatma is everything. This is Tattva Bodha. Anatma is everything you can observe, you can touch, sense, infer. Atma is alone, that which cannot be observed. It is the very truth, the content of the observer. So the observer comes very close to Atma because it is separate from everything. Afterwards, even the observer is dropped, because what is there to observe? The observer, observed is me. Observer is me, so there is the whole point of observation is gone. But here, tentatively, this sakshitvam here is CPR for the sudden identification that has got one down. That is what it is. It's an emergency band-aid, an emergency way to stop the flow of wrong notions. And we have already seen Panchakosha earlier in detail here. Where was it? Let us just go back to that. And we can just sort of look at the ways in which this is manifest here slightly differently. Very nicely it is done. Yeah, it was from 43 onwards, 43 to 48. Prano naham, deho naham aham dehi, deha sakshi iti nischaya. देहो नाहम अहम देही देह साक्षीति निश्चयात् जन्म मृत्यु प्रहीणोऽसौ इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. नेक्स्ट वन. प्राणो नाहम अहम देवः प्राणसाक्षीति निश्चयात् क्षुत्पिपासाप उपशान्तिः स्यात् इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. मनो नाहमहं देवः मनः साक्षीति निश्चयात् शोकमोहापनिस्स्यात् इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. बुद्धिर्नाहमहं देवः बुद्धिसाक्षीति निश्चयात् कर्तृभावनिवृत्तिः स्यात् इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. नाज्ञानं स्यामहं देवः ज्ञानसाक्षीति निश्चयात् सर्वानर्थनिवृत्तिः स्यात् इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. अहं साक्षी को विद्यात् विविच्यैवं पुनः पुनः स एव मुक्तोऽसौ विद्वान् इति वेदांत डिंडिमः. This is how it was taught earlier, and we have done this in great detail. I am not the doer, I am not the, vijnana, I am not this, I am the self-shining, self-effulgent witness of the body-mind-sense complex. I am that which is free from hunger, thirst, pain, everything. I am not the, I am the clear vision of all this, I am the observer. And through observation alone, mukti happens. What is mukti? Moksha. Moksha happens. This was already taught. So why this has to come back here again? Because this is a slightly different level of teaching. There it was literally to deny that and to observe and to see the ways in which this has kind of embroiled in the notion of this I. And here it is to disidentify from the habitual identification of the body-mind-sense complex. So this is more at a more sukshma level, and from there that is why it is repeated. A reminder that was already discussed. It's just a reminder not to dwell on it for too long, but to know that I have to get back to the place of the observer. And if I'm getting, if I'm getting entangled in the five dresses, and so therefore they are just appearance, they are just a mithya reality. Maya here means mithya, and focusing on mithya is what? A waste of time, and it is doesn't vyaya means it's a waste of time, and then anartha means it's a dead end. Nowhere, it will not take you anywhere. So therefore it is better to get into the place of repeating, I am the sakshi of all this, I am none of this, I am the sakshi of all this. So this is to see the meanings of the words of the Taittiriya Upanishad. That is why it is talked about here. So nothing much to talk about because we have already seen this in detail. Next one. Dashamatva parijnane navajnasya yatha sukham. Here is where the correction needs to be. Tadha jivasya sat praptau. Tatha jivasya sat praptau iti vedanta dindimaha. Okay? One more correction is there, but that's in the next verse. So let us repeat again. Dashamatva parijnane navajnasya yatha sukham tatha jivasya sat praptau iti vedanta dindimaha. Yeah, mistake, because samprapti doesn't mean any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So dashamatva parijnane means this goes back to our stock story. What is that? 10th man. Everybody knows the story, correct? Yes. Only 9 came back. Why? Because of the mistake of not counting oneself. So, and that's what happens and this is the segue to the previous verse, if you keep reckoning, counting the Panchakoshas, Panchakosha 1, Panchakosha 2, Kosha 3, Kosha 4, Kosha 5, if you keep counting, what are you not counting is yourself. Yourself has got discounted in all this anartha and anuchita maya, in this maya, which is a huge waste of time. And this, this poof, in the process of identifying with the body, mind, sense complex, you have stopped identifying with the self. That's what has happened, And so, therefore, the self has gotten discounted. And here it says that just like the ninth man, who was the ninth man? The ninth man was actually the 10th man, correct? Yeah. So the knower of the ninth man was the 10th man, correct?
Yes.
So navagyaha, janati iti gyaha. We have seen this, Patam janati iti patagyaha, ghataha janati iti ghatagyaha. So the knower of pot is potgyaha, and the knower of everything is allgyaha. Yeah, allgyaha, sarvagyaha, correct? And the knower of the ninth one is navagyaha. So navagyaha. So here he was just the knower of the ninth fellow, because he was not counting himself. Yeah. Foolish man wasn't counting himself, counted the ninth, and now first when he counted, it's a very peculiar expression, that's why it's difficult to understand. So when he counted one, he was ekagyaha, like this, and now he has reached up to 9, he counted the 9, now he is navagyaha. So this man who is doing the counting, and he has reached the status of being not the ninth one, but the knower of the ninth man. Navagyaha, the knower of the ninth one. Yeah. So, dashamasya parijnane. So when the 10th one finally came to light, as himself alone, pramudha, the pramudha got very happy, correct? Dashamasya parijnane, navagyasya, for the one who knew the ninth one, when the one who knew the ninth one came to know of the 10th one, and he had great happiness. He jumped up and down. He hugged every tree. He hugged the other 9. And then what? He hugged the boat in which they were going across to the ashram. He was ecstatic. Why? Because he was the monitor and he thought he had lost one buddy while going on this trip. And the guru would hold him responsible to go back to the ashram. So he was very, very upset. Then when the passerby, the sadhu, told them, they made him stand all in a line and then counted all of them. And the one who only knew 9, he didn't know the 10th one. He only knew the 9th one. When the one who knew the 9th one came to know of the 10th one, think of the happiness. So happy. He's jumping up and down, Yatha Sukham, that happiness on discovering what? Himself. It's not that one more person was brought in, you are the 10th one. Himself was revealed. He had discounted himself because he was, so busy counting all the other things, And here, only up to then the example, we have to extrapolate here. Here, the jiva is so busy counting all the things that don't matter, that one forgets to count oneself. And without oneself, can those things exist? No. But still, that I is not counted at all. And it is not known for not being reckoned with, not being counted. It is not reckoned, it is not counted, it is not even accounted for. Because so busy one is in all the fantasies, in all the things, in all the tirades of the mind and the tribulations of the body and all these things, everybody is so caught up that one forgets to count oneself. One doesn't see that which is upholding all this is free of all problems. So when the one who knew only the 9th man, was told that the 10th man is here, And the 10th man looks just like him and in fact has the same name. He says, really? I don't know anyone like that. That's why Pramudha, I said, not ordinary Mudha. So then the Pramudha is finally told, you are the 10th man, idiot. And the Pramudha jumps up and down. So tatha eva, just like that, sat praptau, when that sat, when that truth, the truth of all existence is revealed to be this jiva. Sat praptau, tatha jivasya. So same is jivasya what? Sukham we have to bring back. Yatha sukham from the first line, tatha jivasya api sukham, when sat praptau, that is the condition. When that sat is gained as oneself, when the sat that I was looking for, when the forever that I was seeking is revealed to be myself forever. Wow! I am that sukha that I seek. That is who I am. I am just beyond ecstatic. So the same thing, iti Vedanta dindimaha. So all sorrow is gone, all sense of loss is gone, all sense of what? Misidentification is gone. There is no more ocean of samsara for such a person. Everything is gone. And so, therefore, this is given as a little carrot after the last verse. Why should I do this? Why should I contemplate? Because just like the 9th man who was miserable and banging his head on the tree because the 10th man was not appearing, making an appearance. He who thought, there are only 9, was banging the head on the tree and praying for the 10th man to make an appearance. And when the 10th man makes an appearance, as what? As he himself. Then his joy knows no bounds. Limitlessly he is happy. Similarly, the severely impaired jiva, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, this impaired jiva, is busy counting everything except itself. Yeah. It's busy counting all that, all the things in the world, all the names and forms without counting the truth. Yeah. Without counting that Sat, which is the non-negatable, unchanging, limitless reality, absolute, which is the nature of the jiva itself. So it's not, that is why the example works, because it's the jiva who is revealed to be Brahman. It's not that another person is brought about, here is the search, Still that Dvaitam remains otherwise. So there is no fun at all. So the jiva himself is revealed to be Brahman. You are that, oh really, I am Brahman. Yes, you are. Are you sure? Yes. I am not sure. That's why you have to attend another class. So, so therefore, this is the, iti Vedanta dindimaha. So this is a very, this is a nice conclusion to what we have seen from, this is a little temporary conclusion, to this section on contemplation. It's because now the Upanishad, not Upanishad, what is this? Vedanta Dindima is going to take the, is continuing to focus on contemplation, but going to go a little deeper. So, this started with, was the contemplation part, started with, I think, somewhere around 75, yeah. Oh, look, Dashamasya parijnane nayasosti yatha tatha swasya brahmatma vijnane iti Vedanta dindimaha. So that is the concluding verse for this, because they are also the same thing. Dashamasya parijnane, Dashamatva parijnane, almost identical. So that is the beginning, that is the end of this particular discussion. So the contemplation, one is being sold contemplation here. There is no ayasa. What is ayasa? Effort. Exhaustion is not there. Why is it not there? Ayasa, why is it not there?
Because I am.
Because just like in the 10th man, when he was told he's the 10th man, did he have ayasa? No. All the ayasa, the exhaustion was before. The worry, the angst was before. So all the angst is gone, all the worry is gone. Na ayasaha asti. Swasya brahmatma vijnane api na ayasa asti. Swasya brahmasya vijnane, in one's own, in knowing oneself as Brahman also, similarly it's effortless, this was told. And now the fruit of knowing the 10th man, meaning the fruit of knowing Atma, the Jiva as Brahman, is told here in verse 81. Dashamatva parijnane navajnasya yatha sukham. That happiness, that unbound happiness that comes from, knowing one's nature, one's swarupa, that cannot be really, multiplied. That because it cannot be improved upon, it cannot be multiplied, it is incomparable to everything else. This is what one has to know. This was done that. Now this also, the next verse also has some problems. So take down the correct one, because I consulted 2 books and this seems to be the correct one. Navabhyo asti param pratyak Navai Veda Param Param. Navai Veda Param Param. Navai Veda Param Param. Yeah. The next one is okay. Next line is okay. Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Oh, after saying that, I am looking at the wrong book. Yeah. Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navai Veda param param.
Navai Veda param param.
Tadvijnanad bhavet turya.
Tadvijnanad bhavet turya.
Muktir Vedanta dindimaha. Yeah, it's not always iti. Here it is Muktir Vedanta dindimaha. Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navai Veda param param.
Navai Veda param param.
Why are you taking a coffee break
Uh-huh.
between Veda and Param? Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navabhyosti param pratyak.
Navai Veda param param.
Navai Veda param param.
Tadvijnanad bhavet turya.
Tadvijnanad bhavet turya.
Muktir Vedanta dindimaha. Yeah. So this is the there is an interesting thing. This section is having a little word play for continuity, because earlier was Navagyaha was talked about, and now here Navabhyaha, this Nava, this number 9, fixation with the number 9 or word play with the number 9. Yeah. And then the next one also is Nava something, I think. Correct?
Yeah.
Huh? Nava Abhasa, yeah. So, Nava Abhasa, Nava Vijnana, all these things. So, this is one way in which the continuity is being given. The continuity is being given through this particular play on the word 9. It has really, it's more alliterative. It has really, it's other than establishing a subtle, connection, meaning we are still in the realm of nididhyasana. We are still in the realm of contemplation. Other than establishing that, the Nava has not much of a thing. It's just to make things more interesting. And then, but what is something to mention is that, this is going deeper into the delineation. So from the Panchakoshas, that was at the level of the the body mind sense complex, even though some sthula elements like prana and the mind were discussed, still it remained very much on the body, the that which could be observed, correct? Yeah. Now this one is talking even further and talks about the finer aspects of the sthula sharira and how the contemplation or the contemplative person can go further into this contemplation and into this delineation of separating even the subtle body and the subtle functions from the I. Yeah. For example, like sometimes I've seen that in meditation people start to shake violently. They rock back and forth, they shake like this, and they have the tremors, And in certain schools of meditation, that is seen as a good thing. You keep shaking, and that's the more violently you shake the, what is that called? That thing that rises, that Kundalini, yeah. Kundalini, Lingvini, whatever rises. And then that shaking is a sign that Kundalini is rising, and that is seen as something to celebrate. Until when? Until it goes back down. Yeah. What goes up must come down. So therefore, really speaking, there's nothing to be so ecstatic about the Kundalini rising, really. What is there to be ecstatic about? We are here talking of that which neither rises nor falls. We are talking of Atma, we are talking of you, which is the observer of Kundalini. And, let there be Kundalini, no problem. Astu eva, let it be there. And let it rise, risatu eva, arohatu, let it come up, no problem. Let it have arohanam, let it have avarohanam, let it go down, let it come up, Who are you? You are the unshakable, unchanging Atma. So really speaking, the shaking sensations are being experienced on a subtle level, but then the contemplative, the correct form of contemplation here is to ignore that and be with yourself. Even though it's tempting to shake along with it, and then you have to remind yourself, I'm not dancing here, I'm meditating. I'm not come here to shake the leg, shake the body. I'm trying to meditate here. You have to, give yourself that, reminder. Adi Shankara's Guru's Guru, Grand Guru, Gaudapadacharya, talking in the, writing in the Mandukya Karika. Karika means a set of verses expounding the Mandukya Upanishad. He says very clearly something about meditation which is really worth contemplation / meditation, which is worth understanding. What does he say? He says that when you sit down to meditation, sit down in a clean place, not too high, not too, low, all this he says, sit on something, not on the floor, because something, it may be cold, wet, whatever, no distractions. And then after you meditate, as you meditate, don't enjoy the meditation. Kill joy. What do you mean? Such a spoil sport. Don't enjoy the meditation. Because the enjoyment also happens when there is fusion. Yeah. And what are you fusing with? That maybe a thoughtless, not Ananda, a thoughtless state. Ananda is already you. It doesn't need to be fused with anything. So what are you fusing with? A thoughtless state, which is temporary, or you are fusing with a feeling of some kind of a peace that is got from the complaining, wanting mind coming to rest? Yeah. So if you are relying on a thoughtless state to be enlightened, then, you will be here till the cows from several yugas come home. Yeah. Not just this yuga. Because the thoughtless state is neither possible nor is it desirable, and even if it is possible, after a while it comes back. So what becomes more important than I? The thoughtless state overpowers the eyes. You see this? Yeah. So he says, don't enjoy the meditation. So that is one thing not to enjoy, the so-called thoughtless state. And other things, also some enjoyable things happen in meditation. You have this feeling of calm and you feel like hugging everyone in the universe, and you say, oh, this is so nice. And you also have a thought, I am having a great meditation. All these, when you enjoy, you have stopped being the observer. You've stopped being with yourself, really. You have identified with that which you can objectify as something to catch hold of and enjoy, because you're getting into that feel-good place. And then likewise he says, so in Sanskrit he says, na aswadayet rasam tatra. You know? Na aswadayet rasam tatra. Don't take the rasa, don't, make a smoothie out of this meditation and start sipping it. Yeah. The sweet juice of meditation I'm going to enjoy. You are the enjoyment. You are already what you seek. Here you are just sitting with yourself. It's all enjoyment anyway. Be with yourself. And then you'll find you go deeper, really speaking. And then also when you go deeper, what happens? Some bubbles of raga, dvesha, fear, terror come up. These are bubbles from the mud bubble of the unconscious, subconscious coming out. And then sakashayam vijaniyat. Very wisely, Gaudapadacharya says, sakashayam, living along with the unconscious is this mind. They are always together. And then what do I do with the unconscious? Having interrogated it during the waking state and having understood it, having, worked to not let it overpower me through the knowledge and other things that I have done, I just allow it to be. Like even that small baby at what looks like a small baby at the feet of Lord Dakshinamurti. Upon closer inspection, the fellow has a moustache, dagger, sword, shield, offensive, defensive, totally, And this is the inner child, truncated, mutant, ninja. That's what it is. The Lord has put the foot. Doesn't need to disappear. You just put the foot. Lord's foot means the foot of understanding. Heel of understanding, heel of knowledge. You stay. That's what it is. That unconscious is given a staycation. Yeah. Doesn't need to be sent for a vacation. It can stay at home and have a staycation. More cheaper than vacation. Yeah. Doesn't have to be sent anywhere. And here, it is told, heel, stay there. And similarly, when the bad feelings come, those also I don't identify with. When the good feelings come, those also I desist from enjoying. Bad feelings I desist from running away. Instead, what to do? Gaudapadacharya says, Nissango prajnaya bhavet. With the knowledge that you have, you become asanga. You just watch this. Let it go. Anything that comes and goes is not you. This is what it is. So while we know this about the body and even about the mind, all these subtle things is not understood. That's why this entourage of 9 has been brought. And here we are little ahead in this verse. How? Because what is this, what is that? Navabhya. What is this Navabhya? What is this Nava? This group of 9. Navakam. Yeah. Navaka means group of 9. Navakam. What is this Navaka here? What is this 9 group of 9? We have already listed them. Earlier, when we chanted the Viveka Chudamani verse, we already listed them. 5 pranas, that's 1. 5, what? five karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 5 elements, and mind and 3 other things, and that is 5, correct? Then avidya, kama, karma, 8. What is the 9th one? I think they must be counting it differently. Maybe buddhi they count separately as one more. Yeah. So avidya, kama, karma, and then 5 groups of 4 groups of 5 and 1 group of 4.
They say along and in the translation and the individual.
Oh, the jiva. But
This is the individual. I don't know what individual is.
oh, but wait, where is this? Which? Oh, why am I on verse 16? Okay, because some page got. Yeah. Okay, here we go. What verse are we on?
82.
82. Okay. So what does the translation say? The innermost reality of the. No, that's not it. Yeah. 5 sense organs. 1. We counted that. 5 organs of action. 2. 4 levels of the mind. 3. 5, pranas. And then 5 elements. 5. Ignorance, desire, action. Ahankara. Not individual. Ahankara. Yeah, ahankara. That's what it is. Because the ahankara is there in a subtle form.
From the mind.
Yeah. No, ahankara is not the mind. Ahankara is the one that holds everything and identifies with all this together. The one who says all this belongs to me is the ahankara.
But this one says 4 different levels of the mind, which I would always put in. But no.
No, this is that should be buddhi, manaha, chittam and ahankara. No, that's true. Then who is
That's
this?
why I was trying.
Yeah. No, I think it's a different reckoning. Yeah. Individual is already accounted for if you say ahankara. Yeah. So maybe jiva you can take. This what constitutes the jiva. Now we are having the 10th one problem here, 9th one problem. No, because even in the morning, I looked at this verse and I looked at 2 other books. I'm going to look again and read you the Hindi translation from the Hindi book. And let's see if we get anybody. There also it was little vague. I could not understand what they were referring to. So this is by, this is a book by Swami Vishnudevananda Giri, the Mathadipati of, who used to be the Mathadipati of Kailas Ashrama. So, okay. Yeah, he also quotes the same verse, Vagadi Pancha Shravanadi Pancha. So let's see how he counts. He counts the Sthula Sharira also as the 9th one. Yeah. The Hindi one. That's why I didn't understand.
That's the individual then is this individual in this translation.
Sthula Sharira. Yeah. So here we are only thinking, we went into a subtle realm because this is what this is all about, the discussion of the subtle. So we forgot to add. So Puri Ashtakam. So this city of 8-fold things is the subtle body, and along with the body that's holding it, because we are not talking of the departed body. We are talking of the body that's still there. So along with the body, all these 8 things along with the body. This is called instant example of the 10th man, 9th, here the 9th man was not found. Why always 10th man? 9th man also was difficult to find. So, along with the body is 8 things, correct? Yeah, so these 8 things along with the body make the Navaka, make the 9-fold, elements. And so what happens to them? What happens to that, this assemblage, Navabhyaha asti param pratyak. So the pratyagatma, pratyak here means pratyagatma. The atma that is indwelling these 9 messy things. Yeah. The poor atma that is embroiled in the 5 koshas, the 5 all these things, and the 5 pranas, and this and that, and all these things. The poor atma that is embroiled in all these things is separate. Navabhyaha asti param. Param means distinct here. The first param means distinct, separate. And prithak, separate and exalted. separate, distinct and exalted from this motley crew of the 9 things. Param pratyak asti. But then, na eva veda. Na eva veda. In this way, it is not known by this mudha. The mudha has to be inferred. By the deluded one, deluded in what? Because of the self-ignorance. Deluded by self-ignorance, the person does not know. Does not know what? That this is param. This param is that param. The person does not know. Person does not know param. Navabhya asti param prithak. It is indeed distinct from all this, everything that it is put together. It's distinct from everything that is put together for it to indwell. This the person doesn't know. Doesn't know this as that param. Doesn't know this as absolute. And so therefore what happens? Therefore, we have to add. It doesn't say what happens therefore. Therefore, there is sorrow, fear, samsara. Therefore, there is samsara. We have to add that. Why? Because tad vijnanat bhavet turya muktihi. Turya muktir bhavet. And tad vijnanat. So, this is the only knowledge that I am different from not only the gross body, which we promptly forgot because we thought we had discussed it earlier, and not only distinct from the gross body, but the subtle body to which this gross body is attached. So, navabhyaha prithagasti param. That pratyagatma is param because it is separate and naveda param param. Param naveda. This param, who himself happens to be param, doesn't know I am param. Param naveda param. That's why I said mudha. This mudha, who is actually param, doesn't know I am param. Okay. Therefore continues to lament in sorrow, therefore continues to weep. Yeah. Then what? Then tad vijnana. Knowing this makes all the difference to the ocean of samsara. The ocean of samsara dies down for the person knowing it. Tad vijnanat muktihi turya bhavet. This is again a very technical term. Turiya we know, the 4th one, correct? Which is now we already are, here actually it doesn't mean the 4th one, because here we are barely getting out of the 9th one. And then another 4th one. What is this? Neither the waker, nor the dreamer, nor the sleeper. We have to take both the meanings because the word Turiya is used. Turiya is not the person. Turiya is qualifying mukti. That's why it is not Turiyaha. Yeah, Atma Turiyaha. No, it is Turiya. So it's in feminine gender, which is qualifying mukti. So it is not that 4th Turiya. It is not that 4th state. Although by some finagling, you can stretch it and try to make it that. Correct? I don't know what the translation says, but we have to go with the grammar. So, Turiya Mukti means a certain kind of Mukti. It's a qualifier of a kind of Mukti. That is what it is. How many mokshas are there? Come on. How many types of mokshas are there? Moksha 1, moksha 2, moksha 3, moksha turiya. No. There are no 4 types of mokshas. And there are no 4 states of being, waker, sleeper, dreamer. There is actually one state. And that, so 2 meanings we'll take. We'll take that waker, dreamer also. So first meaning is that muktihi, syat. The mukti we take separately and we say mukti hisyat. For whom? For this turiya, for the one who is unattached to the 9 things or the other 3 things that are not mentioned, waking, dream and sleep. A kind of a roundabout, explanation. It is plausible, but we have to work hard at it. I like the other explanation better because there is actually a discussion on the 4 kinds of Brahmavits. Again, how many kinds of Brahmavits are there? There should only be one. But this is the regular, what is that? I suppose when Swamis get together, this is what, perhaps they do. This is the ancient Swami discussion. Swami is discussing, so there is Brahmavit, simple Brahmavit. There is Brahmavit Varaha, there is Brahmavit Variyan, number 3, and Brahmavit Varishtha. Yeah. And then another Swami has also made 6 states, not states, I don't even know what to call it, 6 kinds of enlightenment. 6 kinds of enlightenment, 6 levels, yeah, that's what it is. 6 levels of quote unquote Atmajnanam. And here 4 levels of Brahmavetritvam, 4 levels of knowing Brahman. This is just a posturing. If it is there, you could, if you want to really explain it, you can say, these 4 levels are graded according to, how the level of clarity each person has. Not how bada the Mahatma is. That's not the point, But not how many followers each person has, not how many devotees each person has, but the level of clarity, each person has. So Brahmavit has the knowledge, and then Brahmavit Varaha has the knowledge, and also perhaps little bit of Brahmanishtha. I'm just making this up. I don't know on what basis. I just know the terms, and this is how it is discussed. Brahmavit Variyan, little more clarity, little more Vairagya, little more Nishtha. Then Brahmavit Varishtha. Finally, it is called what is called Atita. Atita means beyond, beyond. And so this is what the whole thing is. So Turya Mukti Syat. It is not that the Turya is going to get free. No, there is a certain kind of Mukti called Turya Mukti, meaning that the 4th. Turya is short here for Chaturiya. And which is the Chaturiya? Brahmavit Varishtha. So meaning what separates a regular Brahmavit from the highest form of Brahmavetritvam is this conscious disidentification with this assemblage of 9 subtle things. That is what the point is. Understood?
Yes.
Yeah. What does it say here? Because the reading itself is different. So that's why I didn't look at the translation. What does it say?
It says gains the 4th, namely Atman.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because the Turiya is in feminine, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the whole verse is different. It's a different reading, so no need to read the translation. So, yeah. So one more 9 is left for next year. We'll definitely complete it next year. So this week we will not have classes. We'll let it go. Take it easy. Holidays came a week early. And you can listen to the previous classes before the old live stream goes away. Yeah. And you can do that. Or if you really need a Vedanta fix, you know where I live, call me and we can just get together and have a satsang if you really want that. You can talk to each other and you can arrange something, okay? Yeah, otherwise you just take it easy. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. 3 hours from now, Gita Jayanti. Okay? Yeah. Oh. Any questions? Dottie is okay? She didn't come today?
Oh, I'm sorry, Swamiji. She had